Hi, Robin. Another draw. Maybe you can just tell us about the performance tonight. What did you make of the effort and what you saw from your team at Soldier Field tonight?
Well, the effort was fantastic. I thought the first half we were very good, very solid defensively, created a couple of good opportunities, obviously got the goal. And the second half, I didn't react to their adjustment quickly enough, and it led to a pretty chaotic second half. So much credit to the team for fighting. I talk every week about how this group fights. And the second half was chaotic and it felt like the field was tilted. And they just hung in there and fought and fought and fought. And we created a couple opportunities in transition. And certainly love to have done better with that. A couple of really interesting calls on the night, and they just fought. And again, I have so much respect for this group of players.
Thanks, Sean. We'll go next to James Crossley.
Thanks, Nick. Hey, Robin.
Hey, James.
I just wanted to get you a little bit more on that first goal. A dangerous ball in from Derek, a strong run from DeAndre there. You asked a question of the defense. How does that fit into some of the attacking ideas you guys have been working on?
That's 100% what we've been working on. It's been a season-long uh, endeavor of ours to work on the timing of getting into these spaces and putting balls in dangerous places. And you said it the perfect way. You need to put balls in areas that ask the defenders. And I thought that that was a really good example of a well executed attack where you put the ball in dangerous spots. And it doesn't even have to be you who scores, just put balls in dangerous spots and good things can happen.
We'll go back to John next.
Thanks, Nick. Robin, you talked about how you were a bit slow to react to some of the things that Chicago did in the second half. What was it specifically that you were referencing? What was it that sort of made them a little bit more on the front foot on the second half, do you think?
They just change their shape and they had players in different positions. Um, than they had in the first half. And I thought in the first half we were in really, really good control. And in the second half, we just had players who were in different spots. And um, I felt like I should have put us into spots to deal with them sooner. Wanted to let it play out and see how it went because we certainly thought we could still hurt them on the other side. And just after a lot of pressure, we made a change to try and contain them. And even out of all that defending, we still had a couple of really good transition moments. So this is a team that, regardless of what's thrown at them, they never quit. They never look bewildered. They just look around, look for work, and they dig in and fight.
And we'll go back to James next.
Thanks again, Nick. Robin, both Chicago goals came from set pieces, one a free kick, one a corner. Is this a case of giving up too many of those opportunities or just needing to be cleaner in how you guys deal with them?
Well, um, I want to be a little bit facetious and say, James, have you ever had to mark a 6'6" player? Those things are difficult to deal with. They're very, very difficult to deal with. I don't think we gave up too many corners tonight. As second half, I'm not sure. First half, we certainly didn't. And Jack Elliott's a very, very good player. At his height, he's a constant threat. Um, you have to be able to disrupt guys like that because oftentimes you're not going to beat them in the air, but you have to disrupt them so they don't get clean looks. I thought they executed extremely well on both goals. I thought Elliott was excellent on both occasions, and sometimes these things happen. They do, and in the second half, we probably gave up a few too many. And actually, we gave up too many deep progressions, which led to some corners. And again, even in the midst of all that, just so much respect for how much we fought.
We go back to John.
Robin, you get the penalty call deep in injury time, and Georgie sort of converts it with the rebound attempt. But I'm wondering what you thought about the call on the Corbianu play. before that. Did you get a chance to review it or?
Well, I haven't looked at it, but I asked the coaches, and the call is what it is. What I would find the curious point about that is, and I haven't looked at it, but I've been told that there wasn't enough in it to overturn. It needs to be clear and obvious, and apparently it wasn't clear and obvious. That's what I've been told. I haven't looked at it yet. So it is what it is. Officiating is what it is, and you just have to deal with it.
And for our final question, we'll go back to James.
Two more quick ones, if that's all right. And yes, Robin, I would concede an awful lot of goals if I was marking somebody who was 6'6". First one, Sifu. It seemed like he came off after stretching to get on that ball. Is there an update there at all?
I am not sure. I don't want to speak out of turn. I don't think it's serious, but I chaotic second half haven't had a chance to figure it out yet.
No, totally fair. And then if we look back at this run of draws, Philly, Columbus twice, Miami, Chicago, those are all teams that are going to the playoffs. Is there anything that you take from that trend if we start thinking about next year?
I think 100%. The first step, I think, in turning over a team, changing the culture, pushing toward where you're trying to get to. The first thing is to be really hard to play against, I think. And this is a group that has just dug in. They've done everything we asked for. I say this every week that we play like a team. And they're a group of guys who really fight for each other. And you talk about trying to establish a culture. When I got this job, we talked about the project of this and where we want to go with this. And it's not about making the playoffs once. This is about building something that's sustainable. And at the end of the day, you want to be both things. You want to be solid defensively and certainly dangerous offensively. And as we continue to work on getting more and more dangerous offensively, the first thing that had to happen is that we had to become more solid defensively, harder to play against, not give up as much stuff. And this group has just really done everything we've asked them to do. And every time I come in, I look into the locker room and I see the disappointment in their faces because they put so much work in and we haven't got 3 points in quite a while. It's really to remind them that what they're doing is very, very good. We continue to work at the attacking stuff. We continue to look to create more chances. We looked at playing with 2 forwards tonight, and it certainly was dangerous in the first half. So there's a lot, I think, to be proud of and to feel good about as we go forward. Every week I get asked questions about how do you get them to continue to play so hard? They're not in the playoffs, blah, blah, blah. And it really comes down to the character of the players. And they're all good people of strong character and strong pride. And that's the basis. If you don't have that, you don't have a good team. But if you have that, we continue to build from this point, then I think we're putting ourselves in a position to be quite good.
Hey, Alonso. Thanks, Nick. Alonso, another draw. Probably not the result you wanted, but maybe you just talk about how your team battled back tonight, late and never really sort of giving up and managing to take a point off a very good Chicago side.
Yes, everyone can see that. You don't go unbeaten for 8 games without being a unified group, being a group that fights for each other and that puts max effort in every game. Of course, today we start the game up 1-0, and it is a game that we have to be able to close down and get the 3 points from. We have been trailing almost in every game in this 8-game time streak, and this is what we wanted. We wanted to stay compact and start the game winning, and we have to be able to, as I said, get the 3 points from games like this.
Go next to James Cross.
Thanks, Nick. Hey, Alonso. I wanted to get you on the 2 goals tonight. Maybe the first one a bit more than the play that led to the penalty. But how is that? How is that reflective of the attacking work you guys have been putting in on the field? I know that's been a focus for Rob in the past few weeks.
Yes, I believe today, mostly in the first half, we were able to be comfortable on the ball and to dictate the game from an offensive standpoint and with the ball and I think most of the patterns that we're starting to see that are working for us, it is a result of the weeks of woodwork that we've been doing during the week in training and starting to develop relationships within players and making it very clear how we wanted to progress the ball up the field and what spaces we want to occupy and exploit. And I think, yeah, the first goal is a result of that. I think for the past few couple months, 2 months, 3 months, we've started to develop these patterns and an identity of play on the ball. And I think now the end product or the final goal is being able to do it for 90 minutes and for it to translate into wins.
We go back to John next.
Alonso, what did you think of the first goal and how it came off for you guys? Because I mean, it's off a failed corner by Chicago. You run a transition very quickly, and Sifu shifts the ball out to Derek, who whips a really dangerous cross that they knock into their own net. I mean, just a really sort of quick counter. What did you see on the play?
No, I think those are moments that and situations that you get very often in this league, and we haven't really been a team that takes advantage of them. Really, I don't know how many counter-attacking goals we've scored this year, but it is something that we definitely want to start producing more of and producing goals off of. Today, obviously, we have a player like Richie that once he gets the ball, he's able to progress up the field, driving it, and then, as you said, the ball that Derek plays, it is a ball that no defender wants to be on the wrong side of, and it's very difficult to defend. So yeah, very 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 good ball from Derek, and as I said, I think those counter attacks we have to be able to produce goals from.
We go back to James.
Thanks again, Nick. Alonso, both Chicago goals came from set pieces. Is that extra frustrating for a team that's looking to get results?
It is, yes. We have been very very diligent in set pieces during I think the whole year, but we've been getting better and better at them throughout the season, and for us to concede two goals in one game off of set pieces, it is something that we cannot afford, we cannot accept, and set pieces should be something that wins you games, not that you lose points from.
We go back to John next.
Alonso, it's been eight draws now. So I mean, obviously it's on the one hand unbeaten eight, but not since mid-July have you guys been able to win a game. I'm just wondering what's sort of the general mood in amongst yourselves, the players, that you haven't been able to sort of secure 3 points in since the middle of the summer.
Yeah, mixed feelings, as you said. We want to win, and at the end of the day, that's what you play football for, and what you play games for, and what ultimately is gonna bring you championships and get you closer to the top of the table. So of course, every time we finish a game and it's another tie, we're not content with that. And the locker room, you can sense a sense of frustration, if you will, in terms of getting so close to turning things around and start producing wins, and then at the end of the game we get close, but we're never able to get those 3 points. So yeah, you can see both the positives and the negatives from this situation.
And for our final question of the night, we'll go back to James.
Thanks again, Nick. Alonso, a little further to that. You know, a lot of these draws have been against teams that are going to be in this playoff, this MLS Cup playoffs that's coming up. Wondering how much you guys are looking at this as a measuring stick or a chance to prove to yourselves and to everyone that's where you guys can be in the future.
Yeah, of course it is. It has been a tough schedule for us in this final couple months of the season, and for us to be able to remain unbeaten in eight, and as you say, against teams that will be playing for championship in the next few months, it brings a bit more value to those ties, and it is a positive for us to start looking at things in a brighter way. That we are even now that we're out of the playoff picture, we're still able to compete, and we're still prideful enough to get results away against teams that are going to be playing for a championship, as I said.